Hey guys, how's it going? Chris here from Wrath of Course. Today it's a pretty different video again today. We're going to be showing how my artwork has improved back from 2016 up to the current day. So there's nothing going to be massive in this one, but I just wanted to show you guys what the differences was and just a very quick overview as to what my own personal hints and tips to how my improvements have come across and what I can relay to you guys. So yeah, I don't really know where to start. So obviously I'm by no means a professional artist. I only really started drawing 3 or 4 years ago. So I understand that I'm not got as good as quality art as other HTCG creators in the community. But it's not the fact that who's best, it's the fact of how you have self-improved over the years. So I've got a couple of examples I want to show, and I'm going to throw on screen here now just to see how things have changed over the years. Now the first one is going to be a character who comes in every single set. He's made his way to other HTCG games and creators games and stuff like that, and that is King Rhaenys himself. So obviously King Rhaenys was first announced in set 1, and this is his design on screen. So as you can see, it's a pretty basic design. This is just as good as anyone who's just started drawing out. The colour, there's not much shading going on, but the design is there and you can easily understand, identify who the character is once you get into the game. And then in set 2, it was more of a portrait of himself, so I'm going to kind of skip the set 2 design. But then in set 3 you get another design which is very similar to the initial design in set 1. So if we compare the two here now, you can kind of see a massive difference in the shading and the quality of the fine liner and stuff like that. So that's King Rhaenys himself. Now Rhaenys will be reappearing in set 4 as a younger version of himself. So I might throw that on screen now actually, so you can see the differences in him. Moving on to the sisters. Now the sisters, there's only really 2 I want to throw up here. The first one is the fan favourite Iris. So Iris has been in every single set, but she will not be shown in set 4. So in set 1 here we've got again a very basic design of a young lady, and she came back into set 2. So we're going to be comparing set 1 and set 2. So as you can see, very minor differences, but set 2 does look a little bit better than set 1. And then in set 3 you can kind of really see the massive difference here between the first 2 sets and the third set. Obviously the colouring is showing a bit more dominant, there's a lot more shading, and even the weapon in her hand has shown some massive improvement as well. And then one of the other sisters, which is Naya, she also came in set 1. As you can tell, again it's a very basic design. The facial figure was a little bit ski-whiff, but it's basic. This was drawn many years ago, and then she came back in set 3, which again it's not a really detailed design, but there's improvement from set 1 to set 3. And then moving on to more scenic designs, so we've got Gem Cave from set 1. So again, there's not much shading going on in terms of Gem Cave, and the water at the top kind of looks a bit odd how it falls down. You don't really see much in terms of like an actual waterfall coming down, and the gems inside behind the water are all basically very basic colours, and no shine and no light or anything coming off. Compare that to a card from set 3, which is Secret Garden. It's a somewhat similar design, but you can really see the differences here in set 3, between set 3 and set 1. And then I'm going to be showing you one from a new piece from set 4, which hasn't got a name at the moment. So you can start to see an even better increase in quality and improvement in set 4, which is upcoming. Then we've got a couple of random set 1 cards, so we're just gonna throw a couple of set 1 cards on screen. I'll throw them on screen now. 1, 2, 3. And then we've got a couple of set 2 cards, 1, 2, 3, and then a couple of set 3 cards, and then a handful of set 4 cards. And you can kind of see how the quality of artwork has improved over the time, which I think is a win in my eyes. It's, you know, there's a massive improvement compared to how my game was back in 2016 and how it is now in 2021. So what I kind of want to say is, if you've got a TCG and you're not happy with the artwork, just whatever you do, don't give up. I mean, I know my artwork is by no means as professional or as good as a lot of other people's creations, but you know, that, like I said before, that's not what we're here for. There's nothing wrong with a bit of friendly competition, but it's not who's got the better art, it's how you have self-improved over the years. And if I've got a couple of hints and tips to drawing characters in games, all I'm going to say is use references. You know, you can download a set of head shapes or eyes or mouths, or you know, anything like that. If you're ever stuck and your eyes and your mouths don't look great, you can just download a set, and then you can just eventually, once you've drawn the same shape plenty of times, then you know you will start getting used to that shape, or other shapes very similar. And another thing to do as well is, if you're planning on drawing anime, like how my kind of game has kind of turned out, if you enjoy watching an anime series, don't just watch the anime, see the anime. Look at the curvature in characters' faces. Look at how if a character is looking sideways, if you've got a side view of a face, then kind of like, you know, try and work like just look at the shape, more so this bit here, so that when you start drawing, obviously ignore all this, that's a bit shit, but you know, I kind of never really thought about looking at this archway here where the forehead meets the nose, the inner nose arch and stuff like that. When it comes to drawing body figures, try and use different shapes. So like you've got a circle for a head, and then it kind of meets into a triangle at the bottom. You've got a nice isosceles trapezoid, which kind of comes down here as the chest. You know, don't forget to add your arms. Just use a line, and then try and create like a joint, like an elbow joint with the lower arm going to the hands and stuff like that. There are a lot of tutorials on YouTube, so I'm not going to go into how to actually draw things, but you know, just try and use references, try and use shapes. When it comes to colouring, try and, especially if you're using pencil to colour in, try and imagine like a direction, a light direction. So if you've got the light coming from this direction here, and you know, just try and imagine these lines coming across here like that. You're going to want to push harder on the paper on this side than what you are on this side. So try and include as much shading as possible where the light would not naturally hit. And another thing as well is your pencils. Try and, this will also save on your lead, but when you're drawing with your pencil, when you're colouring with your pencil, should I say, don't just use the one side of the tip, because you will start to round down one side more than the other. Every so often, once you start to feel that there's no more sharpness on your pencil, you may find that if you rotate the pencil a quarter of a turn, then that part, what you're going to be using now, will be freshly sharpened, because you've just kind of rounded and sharpened it off from the other side. It's a bit tricky to explain, but there is a method behind that. It's strange how it works. And eventually then, once you've done it 3 or 4 times, you will need to sharpen the pencil. So that will obviously increase the lifespan of your pencil, but it will also be really easy to utilise when you're colouring in. I don't really think there's much else to say really, apart from how that's basically how the video is. And you know, just don't give up on your artwork, digital or hand drawn. Just don't give up, guys. Keep on going, keep creating the cards. And that's basically it in this video. It's a bit of a quiet one this week. So if you've managed to watch it all the way to the end, here's a little sneaky preview coming in set 4. Again, improvements from previous and the new. But if you know who this character is, then please post it down in the comments, because it's going to give you a nice big clue as to what's coming in set 4. Alright guys, well thanks a lot for watching. I shall see you in my next video.